Good evening, everybody. Justin Poublon here. We're going to be talking about the winter storm that's going to be brewing for Wisconsin, eastern Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, the lakeshore areas. Oh, starting tomorrow and really peaking tomorrow overnight, but lingering into Wednesday as well. And that's when the winds will be picking up too. Let's get right into it. Right now, I'm actually showing you the current radar view for Wisconsin. There is a bit of a mix of snow in central Wisconsin that's kind of tailing off right now and mix in the south, probably more rain at this point. And that's going to be moving out tonight. Got about an inch of snow in my area over in central Wisconsin today. Maybe some other places got some snow as well. There is a winter storm watch out starting, well, now, I guess, but until about midday tomorrow, and then likely to be picked up by a warning after that. We're going to dive right into the warning information. The watch information. Heavy snow, strong winds possible, minor blowing and drifting. Total snow accumulations between 6 and 12 inches possible in the watch area. Wind gusts could get as high as 50 miles per hour. Again, usually when you see that number, you're thinking blizzard, but because of the wetness of the snow, likely to limit that threat. But still going to have some blowing and drifting, as it's mentioned there. I went and checked the AFD, so the area forecast discussion for Green Bay, just to see what they're talking about. They're saying confidence is increasing for significant accumulating snow from Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday morning. The highest snowfall amounts will be east of a line from Wautoma to Pembine. And then they talk about the wind and then go into more detail. Again, you can check out the full discussion on their website, weather.gov. Here is another graphic from the National Weather Service depicting kind of the area where and this is Green Bay, but perhaps you'd find a different picture from Milwaukee. But anyway, basically a 60 to 70% chance of 6 inches of snow or more in eastern Wisconsin. That's quite a bit for April. So let's go through this step by step and just kind of show you what the models are showing for this storm. So we're picking it up right now. This is actually not the best. Let's see here if we can get a better picture of about right now. This is about right now. I don't think we're seeing as much precipitation out in Minnesota. Again, this is the NAM 12K, so again, initializing maybe not the best out there, but for here you're seeing over the next couple hours everything coming to end there, but still maybe some light precipitation across Wisconsin overnight tonight. I don't think that amounts to too much. We're going to step into Tuesday morning, and you're seeing now this low pressure system moving into Illinois. That's going to track into lower Michigan. You're seeing quite a big area of precipitation breaking out along this northeast side of that storm. If we take this through time, we're going to see that precipitation field expanding, heading northward towards Wisconsin. And as it does that, this is close to noon on Tuesday, tomorrow. Snow is starting to mix in across the northern periphery of that. That's going to be central Wisconsin, perhaps into southwest Wisconsin, we'll see. And just slowly but surely transitioning over to more snow across those areas as the afternoon wears on. I think we're going to be seeing an uptick, an increasing trend in the snow accumulation, at least the attempts at snow accumulation during the afternoon on Tuesday. So we step through here, we're seeing those higher precipitation rates starting to break out. And you're seeing now that low pressure moving all the way off over to here. So it's in almost to the southeast tip of Lake Michigan, which does feel like it's pretty far east for a major system for our neck of the woods, but you're going to see there's a catch. As we go through the day into the night, so this is close to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the snow really settling in across Wisconsin. I would say primarily eastern, maybe central, but southern as well at this stage. Low pressure system heading off over here. Again, the exact placement is definitely going to change, but generally speaking, that's where we should expect it to be. As we go through overnight into Wednesday morning, it starts to boil down or subside a little bit across Wisconsin, but what we're getting more now are the winds. Increasing wind gusts close to 50 miles per hour across Wisconsin. You can see those by the tightening pressure bars there. notice the low surface low pressure, how it hasn't really moved much in the last 12 to 16 or 18 hours. Actually, it's starting to retrograde. So we have a retrograding low pressure system during the day on Wednesday, which is very unique for our area. And then slowly moving back off towards the east as it just mosey on forward in time. So that's what we're generally expecting with the system. Again, this thing isn't fully out of our hair until Thursday. I would say that the accumulation end of the snowfall probably done by midday Wednesday. I mean, you might still have something going on, but we're going to be fighting the April sun, and I don't think it's going to do much Wednesday. But we shall see. Wednesday, I should say Wednesday afternoon. We'll see. We'll see about the morning. Maybe that's more like it, more like a snowstorm. I want to show you the 500 millibar temperature and heights, okay? Because I feel like this is an important piece of the system, what I feel makes it really unique and interesting to watch. So what we have here is a pretty big kink in the southern jet stream, and that's got you got the low pressure forming here, close to now actually. Not too far off from now. The main low pressure at 500 millibar level is here, and it's going to track towards the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, you have a polar jet the polar jet kind of up here. These two things are going to face together over the Great Lakes, and that's what's causing our system to blow up. So if we take this forward in time, you see how the cold air essentially is collapsing southward. It gets mixed into this low pressure system. They merge together, and it creates the boom, the storm of the century. Well, it looks like it, anyways. This is pretty. I mean, this is prone to happen this time of year. You do get these bomb cyclone type deals going on across the area. And that's why I've noticed, at least in east central Wisconsin throughout history, you have your biggest snowfalls in spring is because you're mixing that higher moisture with this late surge of winter essentially coming in here, and they just go boom over the Great Lakes. And that's what this one's sort of doing. I feel like this might have a pretty big impact in northeast United States as well. As you can see, it just continues to do that spinning pirouette. And then Sigma block coming in. But anyway, that's at a high level, 500 millibar. I want to take a closer look at the surface winds and surface pressure to show you. This is a European now. I feel more comfortable with the GFS with reason. Okay, GFS, European, and NAM suite of models at the moment. And we'll see what they look like tomorrow as the short rangers try to catch up. Because these resolution models, European GFS, are going to handle the synoptic scale features better. So that's why we're leaning that way. So here we are at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. on Tuesday when the storm is really starting to ratchet up across Wisconsin, showing that low pressure system at the southern tip of Lake Michigan spinning around, doing loop-de-loops. Look at that. So as we go back into middle of Wednesday, 984 millibar low across eastern Lake Michigan, 10 o'clock Wednesday. That's a great position for accumulating snow across Wisconsin in a classic setup, right? So that's where you would expect it to be. The NAM, if you saw that one, was further out here and kind of lazy with it. I feel like this is really interesting to look at. And it retrogrades. It retrogrades back into southern Lake Michigan by 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and then it starts to move off. It starts to weaken actually at that point and move off to the east. I just think this is super, super exciting to watch. I mean, this is really, really special storm. And I say special just in terms of the dynamics, the synoptic scale, like how everything's coming together. You know, we may not get the widespread snow or widespread blizzard conditions, but we're going to get some interesting weather to watch nonetheless. And some of us locally will get quite a bit of snow. I wanted to show you this because I looked at this earlier. This is from the meteocenter.com. I like sometimes every now and then I like to look at the low tracks. This is tracking the low pressure system like center at periods in time and out to the next 120 hours, and it's just showing you how they're pretty tightly spread together. Like you're not having two camps of like different options that this storm could go down. We're pretty certain it's going to go through Illinois and then kind of I don't know, do this dance in lower Michigan. It just basically dead ends into a fist there. And then and then again, it cuts off here, like right in this area, because that's at the 120-hour range, so it doesn't show what's going to happen over here. I like that's the way I'm reading it, but maybe it is actually. Maybe this is also in that range too. So it's going to skip the Appalachian. It does this handoff, right? Old low dies, new low picks up over here, and then it pummels the northeast with snow. But anyways, I just think it's funny. It just looks like a fist, like, here, take that, Great Lakes. Winds. So the winds do pick up, but they really peak more on Wednesday, and I don't know how that's going to coincide with the heaviest snowfall. I don't think it will, but it will be snowing at the same time it's blowing, and it just could be interesting. But I don't think it's a major threat. Winds, yeah. I mean, high-profile vehicles always got to watch out, but I'm just looking at some of these colors here, and they're kind of signifying those upper 45 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts. So if you just drop a pin right here, 53 mile per hour wind gusts here at this should be 11 o'clock on the Wednesday the 3rd. So, and if we step through time, you're seeing how that low pressure system starts to weaken and move off, but we still have the tight pressure gradient here on Wednesday. So windy, windy, windy. No pun intended, by the way. Um, I thought it was cool watching the storm take shape on the models, and it's still moving a little bit, but you can definitely see the westward trend over the last few days on the European. So here we are starting on the 30th, and then stepping into the later on the day on 30th. Seeing really Wisconsin is not at all involved really in this snowstorm. If anything, just minor amounts, and that could have been from something baked in from earlier in the week, right? But as we go into the 31st, you're starting to see, whoa, that looks a lot different. Everything backed up really far west, and then that looks similar. But if we look at this morning's run, that's an even bigger step. That was so there's from 2 days ago to here, that's a huge jump. And then the most recent run, the 12Z, very similar. These two runs, so we're developing some model consistency, which was good, which helps build some confidence. So I want to show you this GFS 10 to 1 snow ratio. Again, this is not going to happen like this. I just want to show you the wrong answer and maybe try to understand what it's telling us. So, okay, so first of all, it's telling us that the 10 to 1, the GFS thinks it's going to snow 20, 30 to 30 inches of snow in the Fox Valley. I'm here to tell you, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's a chance that maybe locally one or two spots could get over a foot, and maybe more than a foot, maybe up to 18 inches or something like that, in one or two spots. This is not going to happen on a widespread scale. Let's get into what we think might happen, but first, one of the reasons why that 10 to 1 is a bad idea for the next system is because snow ratios are going to be lower. Think about this. You're going to have warm temperatures that are seasonally warm, like 40s. Like today it got up to 40 today. The ground is warm. And then two, we're just fighting a lot of that climatology. So snow ratios, if you look down here in the scale, I don't think you can see it. It's like 4 to 8 is kind of those lower light shades of blue, right? Is when I look at this, is it's 6. I can't see it. It's 6. It's about 6. So the snow to liquid ratio from the HR model is about 6, and that's pretty low. It does increase on Wednesday, but that's a little too late. So my point is that we're not going to be using the 10 to 1. We're going to be using the Kuchera method, and that should give us a closer estimate. Before we get to that, I want to show maybe one of the reasons why the GFS looks so different, and maybe something interesting about the NAM as well. So the NAM, GFS, and European are all kind of on the same page, generally speaking. Icon as well, but the NAM is much lighter on QPF. GFS is almost double that, right? And the European isn't far off from the GFS. So I think these synoptic scale models that go out in the medium range might be handling the QPF better. I don't know. Just based on I'm not an expert in that field. I want to just point that out. So this is the NAM, I believe. Yes, this is the NAM, and then I also pulled the icon. So I wanted to find if I were to pick one model that I thought would handle this situation the best, I thought the icon was kind of there, right? So we're using the Kuchera, and this is for the storm total. Maybe there's a little bit baked in here from today's snow, but really seeing a broader area of that 6 to 12, as the National Weather Service mentioned. Some spots going higher, Door County. Again, up on these higher elevation areas, naturally you guys will tend to have a higher favorability for snow accumulation. So keeping a lookout for that. That's kind of where I'm thinking it's going to be the heaviest in the system, there and then towards the lakeshore. I think there could be a sharp cutoff. Now the NAM has kind of shown that drier air in this region could really impinge on this western fringe of this, and so it should be noted that perhaps these come down a little bit, or it doesn't look quite the same. I think that's what we're seeing here. The other thing to point out is this is not a widespread event for Wisconsin. Yes, in here could be highly significant and impactful, but that's sort of why maybe the communication isn't like doomsday and bomb cyclone and everybody get your bread and milk just yet. Just want to point out timing. So this is from a blend of models, and this is probably underdoing it maybe a little bit, but I just want to point out that the peak time for snow accumulation is likely to be in that 4 to 7 a.m. time frame. We will have some accumulation on Wednesday, but then it's going to tail off, and I think during the middle of the day it's going to be very hard to have much of an impact besides the blowing and drifting. So with blowing and drifting plus light snow, perhaps you're going to have some issues still, but really the damage is going to be done that Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so that one Wednesday morning commute could be a challenge. Whew, so that was a lot. And one last thing before I close out today. Again, you can go back and watch the video. Hopefully I covered most of it, but the last thing I'll talk about is the eclipse. So I don't know about you, but I am going to be trying to get myself into the path of totality, and luckily we have pretty close, some pretty close options for Indiana and Illinois. But looking at the GFS, I'm seeing quite a bit of cloud cover. Now this might be an exaggeration, so and it's not all over with yet, so this is probably prone to change. But if you could pick maybe the worst case scenario for cloud cover, this would probably be it, right? I don't think you could, get much worse than this. So now I'm in this situation where I'm trying to think like, where do I go? Like if the diehards for this eclipse. Now I just want to see it and have a good time, but if you're really into this, you're gonna be shooting for like this one hole in the clouds. If everybody's going to be shooting for that, it's going to be craziness, I feel like. So I'm just trying to scope this out. The funny thing is when I was looking at the models earlier, so you're seeing this little gap right here. Go back. Right here, you're seeing this gap across the Midwest, Central Plains, like Illinois area. That's actually the warm sector of a low pressure system that's in here. So it's really funny because it could turn out to be like a warm sector storm chase in the same place there's an eclipse happening. I don't know how that's going to go, but it sounds really exciting and I'm gunning for it. So anyways, yeah, hopefully this clears up more so we all get a chance to enjoy what should be a very special thing. But again, thank you guys for watching. I know this went a little bit long. I hope you enjoy the video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.